You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
And welcome to another episode of the Cocktail Lounge. I am your hostess with the mostest, Aggie, and with me as always is my affable, quaffable co-host, Brad Slager. How are you doing this evening, Brad?
I am dealing with, the usual holiday stuff.
Don't think he
Everybody's home.
I don't think he wanted to say the word stuff.
I missed the disclaimer, so I didn't know if I was permitted to go beyond.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, there will be harsh language and adult themes throughout this broadcast. If you don't like it, we don't care.
All right, well, there we go. Tough shit. No, it's just all the usual. Everybody's here, and then, something goes wrong, then everybody's uptight.
It happens, especially during the holiday season when, you want to do something really grand and you're preparing to have a huge feast for a lot of family members or friends or both, and you just want everything to be perfect, and it's bound to go wrong.
Yeah. Plus, you got all the varying age groups, and you've got the varying demands that each wants to place on things, and just, it unspools from there. But
Yeah, there's a reason that my parents don't like to come to my house for Thanksgiving, because I make them, my dad, you can tell him to park it and he will. He's happy with just, his little bottle of Ensure and the TV on some, cooking show or Animal Planet or whatever. He's fine. My mom has to be involved in every single step. And I'm like, no, this is for you. You don't get to do anything. And she's like, what? You don't trust me? You don't like my cooking? Oh my God. It just goes to hell after that. So just like, I have to okay, Mom. And then if I let her cook, then she comes at me with, well, I thought I was the guest, but I ended up cooking anyway. And I'm like, what? I can't win. I cannot win. So usually we'll travel to see them, but this is a little bit far, and my parents didn't feel like doing anything. We just decided to stay home.
yeah, see, I've got the advantage of the type AA personality of a wife where she doesn't trust me to do anything, so I'm not allowed to do anything, so I don't have to do anything.
Which is where you want to be.
All I can do is offer a swell guy, and then it's like, no, I don't trust you to do that. Cool. All right, well.
I'm out.
I'll be over here with the game and the beer. Trust me to handle that?
Well, I know. We can be a little controlling when it comes to putting on the Thanksgiving feast. This is true. And, my favorite part of that whole Norman Rockwell painting was the fact that, the father is, carving up the he did the roasting of the turkey. And I always look at that going, my father never carved the bird in his entire life. The man is going to be 91 and he's never done it. It's always been my mother.
Well, it happens to be one of the few things I am permitted to do is take a knife to it.
Well,
I keep getting lectured that, I'm like, I'm so never just got to cut a finger off.
Oh, my Lord. No.
Because of my history of lost digits at this very thing, I made it this long without losing one. I've got my appendages. I think I know what I'm doing.
Well, I'm the one that ends up carving stuff here at the house. And it's really funny because one time we were at a luau, and this was, I guess it was a hail and farewell of some sort or whatever. And they had a suckling pig that had been pit roasted and everything. And they bring it out and nobody knows how to cut this. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, fine, give me that. I just take the carving set and I just start carving the pig. And they're like, how the hell do you know how to do that? I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Everybody was quite impressed with my prowess.
I'd be surprised that I wouldn't like see you do that sharp head rise or something. Did somebody just open a knife drawer?
I didn't use, it was a carving set, but the knife was like, it wasn't sharp enough. So I ended up using a machete after all.
Really?
They had one. Surprising absolutely no one here in the chat.
That's something. See, at least I can, slice the breast, and then I portion it out with the remainder white meat, the dark meat over here, some of the legs and stuff if people want them. The skin I set aside because that's what I usually munch on while I'm in the kitchen. So,
Yeah. What are y'all having a turkey this year?
2.
2? Wow.
That's our go-to. So, yes, I think we've got the backup bird, which is usually, we're like 22 pounds, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
No idea how many are showing up, but that's the way it works.
But just in case, yeah, you'll be covered. That's good.
As long as I get some to take home. That's the key. So
what sides are y'all gonna have?
I'm not completely sure. Usually the girls all go over to Graham's house tomorrow. They make the stuffing by hand. They take half of it home for our bird, which we then start at night right before we go to bed, I guess. And then naturally that means she won't be sleeping throughout the night because she'll be a nervous wreck about the house burning down.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's gonna stay up, isn't she?
Well, against her will, but nonetheless. And then I just have to listen to all the complaints regarding such afterwards. I didn't sleep. I was up all night. I'm tired. You didn't do anything. This is our ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get up early enough so we could pack everything, get over there early because the Buffalo Bills play at 12:30, I believe. So
so yeah, you can't miss that. Your girl's not gonna let you do that.
So I'm looking forward though to Friday.
Leftover day?
Black Friday.
Oh, Black Friday. You are not shopping.
I am so.
You're going out?
Yes.
Physically to the store to go shopping?
Yes.
You are so brave.
Well, that's when the Bourbon County Stout annual release is made.
I knew that it had to be something spectacular to get you to go to the stores.
So, you got to get what you can when you can. And,
very true, very true.
They actually have a rather impressive profile this year.
Do tell.
Because, if anybody's not familiar, this is Goose Island, Chicago brewery that's owned by Budweiser and Bev. But each year they put out these incredible potables, a bottle of which I have in front of me, and I will be cracking open very soon. It's Bourbon County Stout. This is a very dark, very rich, very potable beer that they age in bourbon barrels. And they were one of the first to initiate this. It was kind of a revolution of sorts when they did this on the craft market 3 decades ago. But they reached out to Booker No from the Jim Beam Distillery, maker of numerous fine bourbons, beyond the Jim Beam label, of course. But they started aging them in this, and it was just phenomenal. These generally run in the 12 to 14% range, and they're just highly impressive. These things are like they pour like motor oil. They have a very distinct mouth feel to them. It's just amazing to drink.
It sounds interesting.
And they're actually made in a fashion to be aged. As they like to say, the beer develops in the bottle. So you can actually store these in the fridge for a duration. And guess what I've been doing for the last few years?
Right.
Storing some in the fridge for a duration.
Oh, okay. Nice.
You didn't seem to follow that.
I'm a little slow on the uptake tonight, I guess. I'm just a little out there right now.
But I have the one in front of me right here is it's the Bourbon County Stout. The standard is what they call it, because they come out with a variety of flavors too each year. Like last year, I picked up one that they call the Classic Cola Stout. This thing is loaded with flavor. I had one last night. Holy crap. I mean, they make it with vanilla, coriander, orange peel, lime peel, and brown sugar. And
it sounds like a dessert to me already.
But I mean, you got to understand too, this is like a 16.9 ounce bottle at 14 plus percent. You're going to take your time drinking these, and just the flavor just keeps evolving. I mean, it's like initially sweet, and then you get some of the fruit, then a little bit of raisin, then a little bit of the spice, then some of the oak from the wood barreling you can get in the aftertaste, and then after a few moments, then it's like, wait a second, okay, now I'm starting to get a little bit of a cola. It's almost like a flat. If you ever had soda that was, lost its carbonation,
yeah,
a little bit more syrupy, and then it's almost like a flat bourbon and Coke, I would say. Yeah, because even though freshly cracked, there's not a lot of carbonation to these either. When I first pour it, it's going to have a real thin collar to it, like maybe a half-inch tannin color. Kind of beautiful, but then within about 15 to 30 seconds, it's going to dissipate, and you don't get a whole lot of carbonation on the tongue.
Okay.
And I've had stouts before, that are in the 10, 12% range, and they're very alcohol forward. It's almost like they can't, like you got to push through that alcohol astringency to get through some of the flavors. That's not the case with these at all. This is just pure. I mean, it's just like flavor after flavor. Just everything is so layered. And you're halfway through the bottle, and you're like, oh crap, that's right. This is a 14%er, isn't it? You're not chugging this down after cutting the lawn, in other words. You gotta sit down and work on these. These are kind of thing you got to kind of pace yourself through. But I've got the standard right now in front of me from 2017. Date is on the
Wow.
Let's see. Yep. August 18 of 17. 14.7% alcohol this one is.
I would take all day to finish one.
Yes.
Not
This
gonna
one
lie.
they're promising I should get the aromas of the charred oak, some other flavors coming through. But yeah, I'm excited. I got like 2 other bottles. I had the cola, like I said, last night. I've got a 2018 and a 19 as well in the fridge.
Holy cow. How big of a fridge do y'all got?
Well, I've got a spot right behind the. We use the drawer in the middle shelf, for the cold cuts, and I stand these up right behind the drawer. So they're like out of the way. But yeah, she's been threatening. She's like, "You got to drink these." And I was like, "I'm aging them. Stop it. Let them sit. Let them rest. They're fine." But yeah, this is pretty potent. Oh, man, the aroma on these things is just amazing. I mean, it's like it smells a little bit of the bourbon, so you're getting a lot of the wood. A little bit of a toffee aroma, maybe.
I need these in my life. I'd be happy with just one because I could make one last all day.
Well, you would need to. Yes, I would.
At 14%, oh yeah.
I would maybe say, have somebody monitoring you while you're imbibing this one.
Yeah, I probably have to have like a walker be installed strapped down in a wheelchair so I don't go anywhere. Probably. I'm such a lightweight. But they do sound really, really good. I mean, that one with the coriander and the vanilla, oh my gosh. I bet you if you eat some dark chocolate with that one, it would go really well. The best chocolate I ever had was this fantastic chocolate. I was in Germany at the time, and I believe it was Dutch, and it had coriander in it. It was my absolute favorite, and of course, I can't find anything like that here. So I end up melting chocolate chips and adding coriander to it, and that's how I get my chocolate truffles to taste similar, but not quite at where it was with that wonderful, wonderful Dutch chocolate I had. I miss that chocolate.
Sounds intriguing, I gotta say.
I'm serious. I mean, it's like, a lot of people are into the whole chocolate and chili. They add cayenne or they add some kind of hot spice to the chocolate. And I understand the logic behind it because chocolate it originally did not have any sugar in it. The chocolate drink that Montezuma introduced to the conquistadores didn't have any sugar. It was just boiled in water and some oil was added to it for emulsification, and that's how it was drunk, and people still loved it. So I can understand adding the spice, the hot spices to it, but there are other spices that go really well with chocolate, and coriander is like my absolute favorite to put with chocolate. You should try it sometime.
I might have to. Yes, that sounds different.
All right, I'll just jot it down for something else for Aggie to cook while she's over at CPAC.
Yeah, there you go.
I already have the brie, the baked brie with figs.
You got to be on a 3-ring binder by now.
I am. I actually do have a 3-ring binder for recipes.
It's Friday. Change the tab. What's next?
Pretty much. But yeah, it sounds like you're pretty set for Black Friday and for Thursday too, for Thanksgiving Day. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll be actually cooking I'll be roasting a duck. As you guys know, I'm still hosting Courtney here, and she's not going to be anywhere near family. So I said, well, then you're going to have to have Thanksgiving with us. I'm making a duck. And she tells me, I've never had duck. And I'm like, oh, then you have to have duck. So I run out, I get a duck, and now I'm prepping it, I'm brining it and everything. And I'm going to be making a sweet potato gratin in a bourbon glaze. Yeah, you heard that right. Mm-hmm. Bourbon. So I'll send you the recipe.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, it sounded absolutely fantastic. It has some, candy coated, candied pecans on top and everything. But I don't like nuts with sweet potatoes, so I'm just avoiding that altogether. But the recipe for the gratin sounded so good, and I was just like, you had me at bourbon. I think that was the fourth listed ingredient. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely making this.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's not a very conventional. I've moved away from the turkey simply because whenever I made a turkey, I was hosting my sister and her family, and she had 7 people in her family. We had 5, so it would go all, and there would still be leftovers. But it was an intensive thing. I had to get up at 5:00 and start, preparing it and doing all that. And it was a slow roasting of the turkey because you didn't want it to dry out and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so intensive. And I just said, you know what? I need to find some other fancy feathered friend that I can deal with. So I found a recipe for duck a while back, and I was like, you know what? Let me try making a duck instead. And we've never gone back. I mean, everybody just loves it, and so thankfully, it's not that difficult to prepare. It's just you do have to watch the time on it, and you have to score the skin because obviously duck is a very fatty bird. So you want to score the skin to at least let the fats run through and not make the meat too greasy as it's roasting. But as it runs through, it falls on the pan. So I put the potatoes down there to cook in the duck fat. And oh my God, those are fantastic.
I've done Cornish game hen. That's been my variation on it.
Oh, I've actually never had Cornish game hen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How do you fix it?
I would usually park some cloves under the skin, and then bake it accordingly with a lot of butter at the bottom, and then just baste it on a regular basis while it's cooking. And then towards the end, I would put like a brown sugar butter glaze over it and let that caramelize, just kind of like a little candy crust on the top. Rather good, actually.
Ooh, that does sound good.
I threw the tweet of my beer of the night, the chat.
So
I'm not lying. Got a 5-year-old in my hand there. Beer. Talking about beer. Not Joe Biden over here.
Ouch.
Or Jose Biden, as I usually refer.
Jose Biden, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to correct you. Don't you mean Jose Biden?
Just do that now. Anytime I reference him when I'm writing, I always make sure I call him Jose, and then I link to his Puerto Rican bona fides.
It cracks me up because my dad was reading one of your columns. And he asked me, why does he call him Jose?
Click on the link.
I had to explain. I said, Dad, just click on under Jose and it'll take you to why. It'll explain. My dad he really does not like Biden.
But he's a Puerto Rican.
Hey, that pissed him off. That pissed off my dad no end. Oh my God! But he thought it was funny that you did that, though. He didn't know who you were. He just happened to be talking about that he had been reading, and he didn't know that I knew you. But he made the mention that I don't understand why he wrote Jose Biden. I don't get it. I was like, well.
Let me walk you through it, Pa.
Oh, let me tell you, I spent 20 minutes listening to him just ragging on Biden after that. So, yeah, that was a fun time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It gives my dad gets very animated, and I think it's a healthy thing, because, it makes him more active in a way, I guess, it keeps his brain engaged and everything. So I'm quite happy to hear the ranting.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
I think your dad's a little younger than my dad, though, right? Mine's 91.
Just turned 80.
Okay, yeah, mine's turning 91.
To lose his hearing, though, a bit. I mean, he's got some hearing aids and such. He could still have conversations if you speak in the right direction and all that. But yeah, he likes to get animated about particular things. But that's when you have to exude patience as a son, because he'll start, going off on a political rant or something. It's like, yeah, we covered that 3 days ago. No, go on, Dad. Go on.
I know. But, it's better late than never, I always say, rather than not know, because it's just now people are starting to realize just how the media has manipulated facts, in the past few decades. And people are starting to just now come around to it. So if they get to hear about it now, even though you covered it 3 days ago, I'm all for it. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get to the point. I'm not, one of those like, oh my god, we already talked about this, whatever. Because I go to the bar too, and sometimes one or two of the guys will get in a conversation like, oh my god, did you see that? Did you see? Like, yeah, I wrote about that. Yeah, I wrote about that. Yeah, covered. I try not to get like an ass about it, but it's like, oh no, you got a good point, because when I wrote about that yesterday, and then I get into it and okay. Try not to be that guy. Sometimes you can't help but be that guy, though.
Yeah, true.
I have it foisted upon me at times. Like, I've got one actually barking at me in DMs now. It's like, what'd you do? Did you walk out of the conversation from earlier today? I was like, yes, I did. Because you guys were acting like complete dumb shits. Oh, you start crying because it didn't fit your narrative. No, because you're all a bunch of stunted idiots is what it comes down to. They were talking like somebody with a PhD, at least in their title, the Twitter doc. They were getting on that stochastic terrorism thread that was all the rage this weekend. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently when a random act of violence takes place, they have to trace it all the way back to conservatives. And I went to this PhD doctor who did a study on this and supposedly proved it. I was like, have you ever, I don't know, looked over your left shoulder and done one of these studies? And she's like, oh yeah, we definitely did. And only 4% of all crime that's politically based comes from left wingers, and the rest, it's like, of course that's the case. Sent me a video of an interview with an FBI director or some such, like that's a valid source anymore. And actually had said something like, oh, they want to blame Antifa, but Antifa is not responsible for as much crime as people like to assume. It's like, yeah, because you don't count it, you dumbass. It's like, we had video of Antifa trashing a city, and they're like, oh, that's not Antifa. No, those are plants. Those are other people. Those are doing it. Antifa doesn't even exist. Antifa is not organized. It's not a thing. It's not real. Well, guess what? If it's not real, you're not counting their violence in your little study, then are you? Rather convenient. But then I had a bunch of the idiots who's like, you don't have any violence. Like, well, let's see. I got 70 cases of pregnancy centers that were firebombed, vandalized, and otherwise attacked. Yeah, well, how many of them died? Nobody, you ass. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking terrorism here. I didn't know it was strictly murder. I thought terrorism.
I thought it was, all bad crimes, but okay.
I mean, you're talking about, narratives that are driving people to commit crimes, and we had this abortion narrative all spring, and then we had dozens and dozens and dozens of pregnancy centers attacked. Sounds like that fits the model of stochastic terrorism that you're claiming here. Oh, those don't count because no one got murdered. Well, isn't that convenient?
Yeah. They discovered a new word, so now they have to make it their word. And this happens a lot. I mean, I remember gravitas. Remember the frame red meat. Remember gravitas is the biggest one because that one has lasted the longest. There was one that started with synergy. Synergy was another one.
It's one of my categories, actually, in my column. It's matching media memorandum when these kind of things go out.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did a quick search of the term, and I came up with, I think, half a dozen blue checks that all employed the term this weekend. Oh, and then dictionary.com got in on it, too, to legitimize the phrase.
Oh, for goodness sake. They're wankers. I hate dictionary.com.
Stochastic terrorism is a valid form to measure the The thing is, it's like I tried to track down the definition of this because, I mean, stochastic, the actual word, is more of a mathematical term from like
it is.
The
yes,
30s
it is.
or something.
And I was just like, cringing because I used a phrase in my bio. stoichiometric. That's part of my bio. And I was like, oh, people are going to come at me, but they haven't, so that's okay. I've had that there forever. A friend of mine actually called me that, and I was like, I'm snagging that for my bio.
The best I can nail down is, like, as far as the definition is concerned, is that a completely randomized act that you cannot predict when will happen, but once it does happen, is very evident how and why it happened.
So basically, say the phrase.
It's basically a socio-political term. It's basically Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yes.
Like something happens, and then you trace it back to something else, and then you blame them for the thing that happened. And stochastic terrorism is your proof that they were responsible for the thing that happened that you couldn't possibly predict because it's a completely randomized act that it's like it's not predictable, but when it happens, it's very evident why it happened. It's their explanation of things. We have no idea. It doesn't. There it happened. See, it proved it. Essentially, it comes down to them when they keep talking about violent rhetoric, and when the violence actually happens, then they do their victory dance. Yes, finally. It's like, okay, great. You realize you just bypassed about 6 months of left-wing violence taking place that you never tabulated, counted, or attributed.
But that violence was mostly peaceful, we were told.
And so, yeah, it's like, well, what about the guy that ran over the 18-year-old because he's a Republican? Lone wolf! Okay, what about the individual that jumped on stage and tried to attack Lee Zeldin? Isolated incident, he was drunk, doesn't count. Okay, Las Vegas, you got a Democrat state politician that murdered journalists for exposing it. That's an isolated incident, you can't blame that on the party. It's like, well, wow. That's pretty easy. Basically, we don't count what happens on the left, therefore statistically it didn't happen.
If they're going to compare it, why not throw the shooting of the congressional baseball players when Steve Scalise almost died? I mean, several people were hurt.
We blame the NRA for that one.
But it was a Bernie bro.
Yeah, but the NRA corrupted him because he had a gun. So it was NRA. Also, we have...
There's not enough vodka for this.
Who was the guy early this year? He was, it was in Memphis, I want to say?
Yes.
He was a Black Lives Matter anti-gun advocate that actually tried to shoot another Republican politician. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't count. We're not going to mention him because he was black, anti-gun, Democrat... we're just going to move on now. Sorry, like this doesn't count either. Somehow. Okay.
I'm really thankful that I live in the hinterlands now. Seriously.
But it cracks me up when they don't want to count the that ever happened on the left.
Yeah, they.
So how does denial work into your formulation here? I'm just curious, like how the application of it.
It's just it only happens on the right. It never happens on the left to them. I mean, everything that bad that happens on the left, it's because of right wing pushing them to do the violence.
That's the other thing. The provocation came from the right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's convenient too. How about that? I just, and the whole time I'm having like a discussion, I'm trying to, I should say, about that phrase being used. Stochastic terrorism, does it ever happen? Like, it wasn't Ali Melber, it was, Wahatma Ali, or whatever the hell his name is. I'm drawing a blank.
Wajahat Ali?
Wajahat, yes. Him. I'll blame the Bourbon County on this one. Yeah, he came up with the right-wing stochastic terrorism takes place. And I was like, I'm just, curious, Wajah, do you have any left-wing examples of this stochastic terrorism? Because I'm pretty sure there's, insightful language coming from both sides. It's kind of the way that works, right? I mean, doesn't? Oh, well, those don't count. Oh, no, they're just attacking buildings. It's not murder. Well, we didn't say murder. We said terrorism. So I think 70 pregnancy centers is kind of a targeted pattern of behavior that all took place within this year, by the way. Matter of months. Nope. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Well, I'm sorry. Ever since Elon Musk came to Twitter and started testing the waters, so to speak, and, people have been losing their ever-loving minds. I mean, one of the beauties is the whole meltdown at Mastodon has been glorious to see being tweeted over here at Twitter. And I'm just like, they're eating their own. They're turning on each other, and it's like they literally thought. Stephen Miller, Red Steeds, actually brought a really good point. Journalists really thought they owned Twitter, that this was their place.
Oh no,
and
absolutely.
When they discovered that it wasn't true, they just started fleeing in droves. So they went over to Mastodon, and then at Mastodon they discovered, wait, you're blocking me from being in a journalist server? What? I cannot. Well, fine, I'm going to report you too. And I mean,
it's time for that Nazi meme. Maybe we're the bad guys?
Maybe we're the bad. Are we the baddies?
Anybody, if they don't know what Mastodon is, it's another social media outlet, but it's constructed a bit differently. It's almost like a free form user based platform. It's not like overseen. Basically what they do is they just turn servers over to people to operate themselves, in various groups. And so, you go to Mastodon and seek out a particular group that you want to be affiliated with. So for instance, journalism. There's a journalism. Actually, now there's two. I just saw the other day because I applied over there 2 weeks ago. I've yet to hear back from them. Doubt I ever will. Since it pretty much I got the sense of, you can't sit here. This is the cool kids table.
It's been really funny to watch.
Like Sam from Twitch, you got in there. Amazingly enough. Like she got approved and she was in Mastodon for I think 2 or 3 days. And then some journalist recognized who she was. And then she got reported and then she got booted, I think. Is the way that went.
Wow.
So, like, they all left Twitter because they couldn't handle the fact that people would have free expression. So they go to Mastodon and set up these servers under journalists, right? I got to find it. There's a brilliant tweet that somebody posted. It's a screenshot from Mastodon where it's one of the people that run the account lecturing the other journalists. Hey, guys, can we stop reporting on each other on this platform?
Yes,
they were all getting like pissy and bitter with each other. It's like, he should be kicked off of here. He's not one of ours. He's not a cool one.
He's not one of the cool kids. And I'm like, and this was the problem. They honestly had that with Twitter. They really did. And for all their talk that Twitter was, that Twitter did not go out of its way to, subdue certain viewpoints and boost other viewpoints and all that stuff. They proved that Twitter did exactly that. Because as soon as Elon Musk came in, that shit stopped. Your traffic got higher. I started getting follows again. There were people that were like, their accounts were unsuspended, suddenly out of nowhere. Babylon
B is back.
Babylon B is back, and admittedly, there's still an issue with Alex Jones, but Alex Jones is like totally on Musk's side with this. This is your platform. You do as you see fit, and this is what capitalism is about. This is how it should work. That kind of thing.
This is one of the biggest hypocritical aspects of this whole meltdown that they've been having for the last couple of weeks, right? Because when our people, meaning conservatives and others on the right, were getting deplatformed, 12-hour timeout or suspended or a 1-week suspension and all that stuff, the complaints would go out there, and what was the first response we heard from everybody? It's a private platform. They can do what they like. This is not First Amendment issue. It's a private company, and you conservatives should love that because you always defend companies, don't you? Well, same thing applies today, and it pisses them off.
Yeah, because apparently we told them, go build your own. They went, they found Mastodon again. They went in there and they wanted to build it their own way. And
I
another
saw
one,
like a number of journalists were saying, I've tried to get on Mastodon, I can't even get through, or they've kicked me. Screw it, I'm not getting on there. The other day they were bitching because Parker Malloy wasn't allowed on there from Media Matters.
Parker Malloy was not allowed?
And somebody was complaining on her behalf and said, the prominent journalist Parker Malloy is not being allowed on Mastodon. Like, you said prominent. How about that? Okay. She's the one that was putting out the fake story about the Nazi tattoo that a soldier was wearing. Now, after getting kicked out of Rolling Stone, she's now taken refuge at Media Matters. But she's a prominent journalist, you understand.
Well, she's a prominent pain in the ass, yeah.
But,
you want to go down that road.
But this is the funniest thing of all, though, is because the way Mastodon's set up with these servers, it's it's basically a cloistered environment.
Mm-hmm.
They have to approve you to get onto the server. So it's already an exclusive club. And then inside the club, they're bitching and moaning at each other and kicking people out and telling others they're not qualified to get on. And it is absolutely amusing to watch them turn into a digital Lord of the Flies.
It is. It's so beautiful.
Because they couldn't handle the public having access to them on Twitter. I mean, holy shit, is this hilarious.
It's great.
And Elon Musk, it was yesterday, I think it was, he was responding to something Kyle Becker, another writer, had put out there.
Uh-huh.
And Musk said, and he's on the inside, he can see this, he says, I can tell you definitively, there is nobody on the left wing who has been suspended for telling lies, for putting out misinformation or whatever these punishments are. And he started to get into it then with like a Democrat operative or something who started bitching and moaning about him. It's like, he just laid it out for you. You people are not suspended. What are you bitching about? Basically, what he's done is unlock the gates for the other people who were shunned, the unwashed on the right. That is what's pissing people off. And it is hilarious to watch them lose their mind.
It's rather glorious. I like it. I mean, so many people have lost their freaking minds over it. And some of it has been really tragic to see. Some of it has been expected. Let's face it. The regulars like Ron Perlman, Rob Reiner, even Kathy Griffith is back. She's back on Twitter. He, unsuspended her.
Did Ron Perlman return?
I don't know. Cher is still here, though. Pretty sure. But, one of my favorite actors is John Leguizamo. And he is he's just batshit crazy. And I have to really, really try and separate his acting from his dribble over on Twitter because y'all think I'm melodramatic? I am nothing compared to this guy. Okay? This guy is a little melodrama queen. He really is. I don't know if you remember, but when Roe versus Wade was overturned, he tweeted out urging Congress to pack the courts and to enshrine the abortion rights of people into law. And he has been like really following the January 6th committee hearing to the point where we're so close to the end of our democracy. We need to do something, blah, blah, blah. I mean, seriously, I didn't know that outside of acting, he was like this too. I honestly thought that was acting, but no, he's really like that.
Oh no, he's one of those I've seen talking about like the Hispanic vote that's drifting over to the GOP, and he's one of those that, they're these are impressionable people who have been swayed by misinformation on Spanish radio and elsewhere. And it's like, white people are stupid, is what he's saying. Yeah,
and he's bitched about the fact that Hollywood has cast people that were not Hispanic in Hispanic roles, and I don't know if y'all know, but James Franco is slated to play Fidel Castro. Well, Franco is Italian, not by birth, but by ancestry. And Leguizamo was very upset about the whole thing. Why is he? I mean, he's a great actor and everything, but he's not Cuban. A Cuban should be playing that role. Well, I'm sorry. You pick the guy that looks the most like Fidel to play Fidel. That's how it goes. That's usually how you go through the casting. The guy's got to look like Fidel before you can move on. And, but he complained about Al Pacino playing in Carlito's Way and in Scarface. In one, he was Cuban, and the other, he was Puerto Rican. So he was really upset about that. I'm like, dude, you weren't even born yet.
Well, I'm kind of upset because in Scent of a Woman, he wasn't actually blind.
Yeah, you know what? They didn't pick a blind guy. You're right. That's horrible. But his new thing, and he's still on Twitter. He said he would leave if Trump got reinstated, but he's still on Twitter. But one of the last thing that just really sent me over the edge was he tweeted out, I want to say a couple of days ago, something about Happy Indigenous Survivors Day, fuck Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay, first of all, dude, you're from Colombia. If you're going to start this shit in this country, you better go clean up your own fucking country first. Because over there, indigenous people have secondary citizenship, okay? They're not even full-class citizens. So go clean that shit up before you even attack my own. Second, do you have any idea what the concept of Thanksgiving was? It's almost like people have forgotten what Thanksgiving is about. It's not about genocide. It's the complete literal opposite of genocide, okay? And I'm just like, how is it that people have forgotten what Thanksgiving Day started? I mean, it was basically
you gotta understand though,
of the harvest.
This is like a college emotional reaction. Like when you are in school, freshman, sophomore, and one of these, reactionary professors are spooling their theory on something. One, I mean, you get a little bit of a rush at new information. It's like, oh, wow, this is cool. This is fun. But there's also a feeling of power when you get what you think is knowledge against the establishment. Because it feels as if you've got inside intel. It's like, well, I know the real.
It's true. Yeah.
And this is, I mean, it's literally the same emotional reaction. It's why people love murder mysteries and such so much. Because
don't you diss my woman.
Hey, I'm not like that.
Okay. You leave my Jessica alone. Go on.
I don't diminish your people.
My people.
No, but there's a certain feeling of like empowerment when you get like information that nobody else has. That's like that secretive thing, and that's why you
That's
follow
true.
a murder mystery, because a detective is finding clues and learning things that nobody else knows about, and that's how he's solving the crime and such. You are, you feel like you're on the inside then, and that is a very seductive feeling. And then when you get that in college, when a professor feeds you something, it's like, let me tell you something. The Pilgrims were actually genocidal maniacs that wanted to kill. Really, I thought they sat down and had dinner with the enemy, but now, no, we're
Oh,
killing.
no, they were and see, and this is what they're conflating two separate things into one, and they're doing a disservice to the indigenous people, to the native tribes that we have here in this country. I'm sure everybody remembers the story of the first Thanksgiving. It was a celebration of the harvest that came in, whereby the pilgrims were going to sit and eat, and they had, I believe, several different types of meats in their thing, but they had also harvested, and the Wampanoag tribe came with venison and their harvest, and they got together and they basically celebrated the end of harvest. And it was all done outside. There were not enough places for people to sit. So people were sitting on the floor, on the ground. They were sitting on barrels, whatever. It was very informal, kind of a get together. And it wasn't just turkey. They had fish. They had, shellfish,
But it was also because the natives because when the Pilgrims first got there, they were suffering because they didn't know.
Yes, they didn't know
how to grow or what to grow.
New.
They didn't know what was indigenous, and it ended up being that the tribal people showed them what they ate,
exactly,
what
and
they
so
harvested. That's how they survived. And it was like, okay, gratitude. We got our harvest, you got yours. Let's share it. Let's, thank you for saving us.
And for like 50, 55 years, everything was cool. They were working together with each other. Then, the king decided to, I don't know, got his panties in a wad or whatever. And I want to say it was King Philip. King Philip's War or something like that, the 70s started. And of course, there were a lot of natives that died during that war. But what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the colonists died too, because they were trying to defend the natives from being raised and killed. So there were large massacres, but there were massacres on both sides trying to prevent one massacre. So they're trying to conflate those two things into one. No, there was no genocide during Thanksgiving. And what I don't understand is how it is that some people are trying to conflate the two and trying to make this particular holiday, which should be about being grateful for what we do have, however little it is, we still have something. And they're trying to make it into something hateful and something that should be shunned. And I'm like, since when is gratitude a bad thing?
Well, it's because, again, like I said, this makes them feel as if they've got that inside intel. It's like, oh, look at all you poor suckers having your turkey. You don't know the real information. And so it's all about belittlement. It's about, being condescending. It's like, I know better. I know the truth. And
yeah,
it's the same thing we're seeing on Twitter, because the press is getting ever-loving minds pissed off because they're losing their grip on that truth. They were the ones that lorded the messaging. And every time they lose a grip on that, they just lose their mind at the same time.
And this, one of the worst things that I hear people say over and over is, I just want to be able to tell my truth. No, you don't have your truth, and so-so doesn't have their truth. It's just truth. That's why it's considered one of the great words. And I don't know if anybody remembers Mortimer J. Sadler. He had this set of books about the great words, and everything. Truth was one of them because it was definitive. You could not change it. Okay. It wasn't subject to interpretation. It was just, it's defined by fact. So you can't say, this is my truth. No, that's your opinion. But the truth is something completely different. And I mean, there's one of my favorite furniture paint people that I follow. She had a big falling out with the paint company, and there was a big brouhaha about it. And, you know, for me, it was like all sorts of popcorn because I was watching the whole thing in real time develop, and it was just like, holy shit, you know, they're fighting online right now as I'm reading, you know, this is great. So, you know, but it was really hard for her because she found out that the company had basically misled her when she was signing her contract. So she's still trying to deal with lawyers and all that stuff and whatever. But she had mentioned when she was explaining what was going on, and she was trying to be as neutral as possible, and she used that expression. And immediately I sent her a message. I said, I know this is unsolicited, and I'm just one of the little people that just watch you to learn how to paint and all that stuff. But believe me when I tell you, it's not your truth. It's just the truth. Stick to that, and you'll never look back. Trust me. And she actually wrote back and agreed with me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am, you know? Because, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say
you squeaked, didn't you?
I did. I was like, but I mean, this is a woman who is really big in the furniture flipping business, and she is known worldwide. She goes all over the world to do her seminars and stuff like that. So I didn't think that she was going to be paying attention to anything that I said, or she would at least read it and just let it go. You know, she contacted me, and she wanted to talk about why she used that term versus the truth. And I explained to her why it was important that she used the instead of my, because what she was trying to say was, no, this is really my opinion, and you may differ from it, blah, blah, blah. But if it's based on facts, if it's just the truth, the way it is, say the truth. And that way you will always be ahead of those who were trying to suborn or, you know, whatever you're saying. And she was like, this is one of the best conversations I've ever had. Thank you so much. And I was just like, oh my God, she knows who I am.
This is what has the press so upset, is that
yes, it is.
It was their truth in their minds.
Exactly.
And now that Elon Musk is trying to make Twitter more egalitarian and everybody can have a forum now, you can't do that. That's ours. It was never more evident than Friday night. I love this so much. This is just so beautiful. Friday night on CBS Evening News, one of their field reporters came out to announce, oh God, that CBS News and its affiliates are going to be taking a pause from Twitter and leaving the platform, monitoring the situation because of the potential inherent dangers that we see on this platform.
Yes, that was glorious.
Not like Major Garrett or one of these other people are like, that's it, I'm gone. Somebody had to, there's a great cartoon. I got to throw this in the chat. But the other day, somebody said, I forget who it was that made the grand exit, and they said, do you realize Twitter is not an airport? You do not have to announce arrivals and departures. I fucking loved that line so much. It was like, that was beautiful. But that's the case, though. It's like, you can't just leave Twitter. You have to, flip a table, slam a door, that kind of thing. You have to have that grand exit. Where's the cartoon? Damn it, get up here. My computer's pointing me. There it is, cool. But CBS News did this. That's it. We're departing now because we need to oversee the function of this platform, and we're going to be making sure that it's safe for all. And we're leaving. And basically, the response to everybody else was like, bye. It was like, oh, the trash is taking out itself. How convenient, that kind of thing. And, like, nobody freaked out like they were expecting. You can't leave us. We need you, CBS News. What'll I do without you? I guess I'll have to go to one of the other 50 dozen other news outlets. Okay, bye. So there I am Sunday, bleary because, there were certain events that took place on Saturday. And as I left to embark to go watch football over at the satellite office, I was Dolphins didn't play, so I didn't have a whole lot of vested interest outside of my fantasy league. By the way, don't ask. I just have one word. Fucking injuries. I was sitting there doing other things, and all of a sudden, CBS News has decided that we will end our pause and are returning to Twitter now. But mind you, we will still be monitoring and making sure. It's like you sons of bitches couldn't even last 2 days.
They couldn't quit Twitter. They just couldn't.
Friday night's broadcast, they said, we're out of here. Sunday morning. We're going to come back now if that's okay. Like, it suddenly dawned on them that, one, people did not freak out and lose their mind that CBS was leaving, and oops, it's kind of affecting our traffic and our revenue. Oh, what do you know? No. We're coming back now because we've approved things and it's all safe now, and we've deemed it appropriate.
Well, has anybody figured out if CBS News or any affiliates have accounts over at Getter and Parler and Truth Social and Gab and all of these other places that are supposed to be full of right-wing extremism and shit?
Honestly, I'd have to care to go check.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
why I haven't checked.
Spoiler alert. But it was just, somebody counted. I think it was, 1 day, 16 hours, and 32 minutes they lasted without.
Yeah, it was about 40 hours total or something like that. And I'm just like,
you sons of bitches can't even walk away for a week. Come on. No, we need. But now I'm saying anybody else in the press now that bitches and moans about Elon Musk making the place dangerous, like, been vetted by CBS News. They checked everything out and came back because it's safe. So shut the hell up. It's just comical. And the thing is, Twitter is doing gangbuster business right now. That's the funniest of all. I'm not going to hear that mentioned anywhere in the press, are you? So, every so often, Elon will, post some metrics. He's like, wow, another week of record engagement, new signups. And the press is like, no, we don't like that. This place is dangerous. This place, it's a hellhole. People are going to die because of this. Found another story that the press is not reporting about Elon Musk. Turns out he has been rooting out sexual predators and pedophiles on the site.
Really? Well, now.
I'm kind of the opinion that this is awesome.
Beyond. Actually, beyond. For a long time, that was one of the things that I absolutely despised about Twitter. And I reported every time I would see any kind of child exploitation or, Twitter never canceled these accounts, and it was beyond disgusting. And it didn't, even though it's like, oh, this account is restricted, for older people or whatever. I don't want the account to say, I want it gone. You shouldn't have this on Twitter.
This should show you just part of the horse shit that goes on Twitter. We have to get rid of Donald Trump because he's dangerous and he can be impactful. He can cause violence and he can cause negative effects on people's lives. Ayatollah of Iran, though, totally cool.
Yeah, he's okay. You can have him every day and twice on Sundays. That's
He
fine.
can pledge the eradication of the Jewish race, which I'm going to throw the flag on this and say that does violate terms of service as far as violence goes, right?
I distinctly remember seeing a tweet of the Ayatollah, and it did translate to eradication of the vermin that is the Jewish state.
Mm-hmm.
I reported it to Twitter, and Twitter told me it saw no violation of its TOS. And I was just like, I was in shock. Like, let me get this straight. Complete genocide is okay, but President Trump is not. Okay.
Yeah. Right. The guy that they promised is going to eradicate particular races, but has... let's see his track record. Yeah, he hasn't done it yet. Got to say, as a president, he's pretty much a failure. No gay encampments. Jews are still walking around the country all free and clear. What's up with that? Let's see. Black people, they started voting for him. That's a contradiction. I mean, across the board, all the promised homicidal, genocidal, whatever that they do. Oh, it's going to be the worst ever. He's going to bring... Really? Because, I don't know. I see.
I'm still waiting.
More Hispanics are voting for GOP than ever before. Oh.
Oh, yeah. We have, like I said, Texas went even more red, which sent up alarms with the Texas Democratic Party. And it is my understanding that the Democratic Party here wants to get rid of some Democrats that take up a little bit too much oxygen. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go the way of Jimmy Hoffa. I'm just saying that they're no longer going to sponsor them to run or anything like that. And one of them is our favorite furry. So, because he doesn't seem to win anything. He just gets to keep the cash, And, the Democrats want Democrats to win. That's what the Texas Democratic Party wants. And I don't blame them. That's the whole point. You run people on your ticket that you want to win, and how could I say this? I don't have the words for it, but basically the Texas Democrats don't see him as a Texas Democrat anymore. They see him as a New York Democrat. They see him as somebody that's completely alien. So
they're probably looking at the check stubs from his donation.
Yeah, they are, because none of it went to the committee here, the Texas state the state committee for the Democratic Party. None of it all went to Beto. So the fact that several districts that were leaning red went super red, and some that were leaning blue became leaning red and then went red was very alarming to a lot of people, especially in the northern part of Texas, where it was really not expected. And in the very, very top, very, very bottom of Texas, we now have, for the first time ever in South Texas, a Republican district, and people are freaking out.
Miami-Dade County voted for DeSantis. That's amazing, actually.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that, my little gif of "it's so beautiful" went out. Because
it's the second bluest county in the entire state, next to mine.
Broward.
I live in the Chicago Bears helmet when it comes to Florida. And Miami-Dade voted for it. It was hilarious, too, because CBS had a guy on the ground. I think it was the day before the election on Monday.
Was it the same melodramatic guy? Or was it
No.
guy? Okay.
He was, I think he was talking to the morning show, but he came in and he was just like, yeah, we're here in Dade County, pretty heavy blue district, big Democrats everywhere. We haven't found a Charlie Crist supporter yet. And They were like, oh, come on, yeah, really? He's like, well, no. He's like, really? I've talked to people, like, some had no opinion, but most of them were either DeSantis or. He's like, I got to the point where I'm on a street corner and I'm waving cars down and asking people that pull up, and I still haven't found one. I mean, this guy was desperate to find Democrats that would vote for Charlie Crist. They were just like, kidding me? But I think I've found, and this is why I love covering the press, because about once a week or so, I'm like good for these things. I just deliver gold on such a consistent basis. Over at The Hill, if you're familiar with that outlet, they, I guess, have a web series. I wasn't really aware of it myself. Where it's like a web news show, I guess you could say. It's called Rising, not The Rising. Don't you dare confuse it. It's just called Rising. And I got to frame it this way. Elon Musk put a tweet out from Twitter headquarters. I guess he was in the lobby or such, and said something to the effect of, I want to welcome back Ligma and Johnson to the fold. It was a mistake to ever fire these guys. I'm bringing them back in, and he's posing with his arms around their shoulders. These would be the two guys that pranked the media 3 weeks ago. Right? Walked out of Twitter headquarters with their termination boxes. And they're like, oh my God, you get fired? It's like, yes, my name is Ligma and this is my friend Johnson over here. Nobody in the press picked up on this.
Nobody. I'll be honest though. I did not get it either. But you know me, I'm a noob. Okay. And I'm not a member of the press.
Well, you're sweet and naive.
I'm an idiot, but yeah, okay.
I'm not. So somebody had. I just cracked up because I remember when somebody put it out there. It's like, oh my God, they fired this guy and he regrets losing his job because he owns a Tesla. It was like, holy crap.
I think it was you. I think it was you who posted it in the green room chat or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't get it. It has to be explained to me. Well, and I felt like 2 inches high. I felt so small.
But this was literally my reaction. Like, I saw the first indication I had was somebody saying, oh, this guy got fired from Twitter and he owns a Tesla. And I was like, God, that is just so California right there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, here, okay, whatever. Let's get to the bottom of this, shall we? And then I scrolled a little more, saw some more indications of it, and saw an actual story. And then they said, and then this guy, Thomas Ligman. I was like, whoa. Hit the brakes, tire squeal, record scratch. What? Like, I mean, as soon as I saw Ligma, I was like, wait, something's afoot. And it took a little while too. It's like, why? What is it about Ligma? Something about Ligma is not right. And then it's like, oh, that's right. It's like, wait, holy shit. Yeah, these stupid ass reporters didn't fall for that. Oh, they did. Tweeting it out, posting stories. Bloomberg reports that 2 people were fired from Ligma and Johnson have lost their jobs this Friday. It's like, you dumb sons of bitches. I mean, it was just pinged in the head. As soon as I saw Ligma, I was like, oh God, something's up. Something ain't right. Hang on. Not these tech reporters, however. This is an online meme, okay? I mean, this is like their job. Is this never triggered on them? So they're out there just posting this, and then 2 hours later, as the internet is laughing its collective asses off at these stupid reporters. Okay, well, anyway, Elon Musk poses with the 2 guys, Ligma and Johnson. Puts out a straight-faced tweet. It was just a literal poke in the eye of the media yes. With his middle finger. It was just, made a mistake, had to bring him back, and they're both happy. Okay. Welcome back, Ligma and Johnson, he says, in front of the Twitter symbol. Well, at the Rising, they saw this tweet. And they had some critical analysis of the tweet itself. Let me play for you just a quick snippet of their reaction to this tweet.
I mean, what do you think this is about? Is it because he has created such a poor working environment and has ruined the relationship between him and his employees so much that he's not able to do the job? Because I saw him, he was tweeting out pictures of him standing with two employees who he had fired prematurely and then rehired with his arms around them, kind of like, hey, I know I shouldn't admit to my mistakes. It seems like he's in a desperate situation where he's realized he actually needs somebody, and the single genius myth is just that, a myth, and he actually needs these employees to work for him. And the employees didn't look so happy in that.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
It's a myth that he's a genius. He's not a genius because he made a mistake and had to hire Ligma and Johnson back. Wait, what? Why is the crew laughing? What's going on back there? I'm sorry, what? What? Did I miss something? What? Did I...
Oh, my God.
This is a reporter.
A journalist. Oh, my Lord.
Supposed member of the press who, A, hadn't picked up yet on the Ligma Johnson meme tweet. I mean, but 2 weeks later, this happened week before she did this. She did this on Friday. Okay. What the hell? What is your... Okay, granted, maybe you didn't know the joke. I'll allow that. But how do you report on this without knowing the story behind it?
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying to do due diligence. Whenever we hear something sensational, the first thing I do, I don't tweet it out. I go find out whether or not it's true, whether or not it's really going on, that kind of thing. And it always amazes me that some people are so quick. They want to be the very first one. They want to be the first one. And they don't go research first. But, that happens. We're lay people. This is not what we get paid for. But this is what she does get paid for. And the fact that she didn't do her job,
she's on camera. I mean, they're calling him a genius, but I think that's a myth because he made a mistake and hired back Ligma Johnson. I just love it. I love it because these are the people that are the most condescending. Evidence right here in this 35-second clip. She's insulting the billionaire who has built numerous companies as a fake genius because he made a mistake and hired these guys after he fired them by mistake. He's no genius. Oh my God. I love this so much.
It is, without a doubt, one of the greatest punkings I've ever seen. Elon Musk do. And I know there's more down the pike.
But that's the thing is the press keeps jumping on him. It's like, oh, he's killing Twitter. Who was it? It was on another one on Julia Ioffa.
Oh God, that woman.
Twitter is dead. She tweets out. I mean, how are you on the platform complaining about the platform and then declaring the place to be dead when you hit send and it actually was delivered to the platform? I mean, it's like they're rooting for this failure so hard. They need it to fail. And at the same time, they need the platform, as evidenced by CBS News and others who can't leave.
They cannot go.
It's almost like they want the drug dealer to die in a shootout so they then won't be able to get the drug they desperately want, is what it feels like. I mean, it's baffling to me because I over and over, I just see all these people. This place sucks, this place is terrible, it's going to die, it's worse than going to plan, it's inhospitable around here. Delete your account. That's all you got to do. Easiest thing to do is delete your account. Even if you don't mean it, you can recover it.
True.
But, they have to know. They have to do that grand flourish, banging their fist on the table before they flip it over. That's it. Won't have any more me to deal with.
Okay. Your terms are acceptable. The door is that way.
You're still here. It's right there. Turn around. Yeah, turn around. That way. It's over there.
I mean, seriously, so many people said, well, if Donald Trump comes back, I am out. They're still here. They're still here. I mean, seriously, nobody has the strength of their convictions anymore.
Well,
they really don't.
Did you see what happened a few days ago when his account was reinstated?
Aside everybody losing their absolute minds.
People went batshit nuts. This isn't. We can't do this. Meanwhile, Trump never tweeted anything.
No, he still hasn't, I don't think.
All people did was share old posts from Donald Trump. Like the one where he's raving about Ron DeSantis. And people lost their ever-loving mind and nothing technically happened. They just they flipped the switch. It's like, oh no, it's green again. That's it. And people couldn't tolerate it. I don't know who it was this morning. It was some other blue chick was losing her ever-loving mind about, there's danger and there's sex predators. It's like, you still have the block function. That they didn't take that away. You don't have to go to that account that you can't tolerate being here. That was my first mistake of the day because I had a bunch of the followers that was like, oh, look at you. You're doing the exact same thing, Brett. It's like, I'm laughing. Okay? I'm not sending out a flurry of tweets of hatred here. I'm saying, you don't got to do this, honey. Oh, yeah, well, what? You're responding. All right, I'm laughing. Get it? That's two different things. That's the part that cracks me up, though. It's if you respond to anything on Twitter, it's like, oh, you're losing your mind. Am I now? Okay, got it. Good to know. Good to know. I thought I was giggling at them, but it's fun to watch, though. I can't get enough of it, actually. It's kind of stupid how many times I watch different journalists just come out and spout off. It's the thing is, it's pure undistilled emotion. That's the beautiful part of it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Like, there's no pragmatic application of things. You're just like, and have you thought this through, or did you just have a dopamine rush and hit send? I mean, because that's not what I said. And there was like some former GOPer today. He said, I really need people to tone it down or shut the hell up and end this divisiveness. And it's just, it cracked me up. It's like, we have to put an end to all of this hostility. Shut up, you sons of bitches. And all I said to him was like, wow, that was well thought out. Oh, yeah, what do you think? You say that wasn't divisive? I never used the word. That was you. I'm in the back row throwing tomatoes at the screen, buddy. That's all I'm doing. Keep going. You're doing great.
It has been a lot of fun. Twitter has been a lot of fun to watch, and I try not to get embroiled with a lot of it, but I did have to poke fun at CBS when they tweeted out something. I was like, does this tweet mean that you figured out that Twitter was safe and okay to come back to?
That was the funny one. Was I think Sunday when I put it out there, like Pete Kalender, that's the show I filled in for. Mm-hmm. He just answered in the tweet, he's like, declared safe from Twitter today. Whew, yeah. Thanks, Pete. Thank you. Good.
Oh, man. Anyway. Well, it is the top of the hour.
Uh-oh. Oh, damn, it is, isn't it?
Yes, that to say.
We've had a little too much fun tonight. Or I've had a little too much Bourbon County.
Both? Why not both? Both. Nope, I go with both.
That's definitely not the case. I could use more.
Okay, well, you can have more because you have some, and I don't.
And I won't rub it in with too many mine.
That's
Ooh, look
okay.
what I just opened.
I, like I told you, I got your Christmas, your birthday gift. I'm gonna go to the table and go start on it right now.
But did you see the magic of this particular puzzle?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I mean, it's a wooden puzzle.
Yes, but as you're putting it together, you're going to find out a number of the pieces are actually characters from Star Wars.
Oh my gosh! Really?
You'll see like Boba Fett. There's an AT-AT. I think there's a Han Solo piece. It might even spell out Star Wars or something like in the middle. Yeah, it's cool as hell. I was like, well, I got to get one of these. As you're putting it together, you're going to find like you'll make discoveries and like, whoa.
Oh my goodness! Maybe I should wait until tomorrow because all the squealing will wake up the dog instead. I don't want to start screaming. But
I got you too.
I saw that, and it's one that I can actually clip on my on my pant or my belt.
When I first saw it, and I laughed. I was like, "Come on, what's this? It's got all like 6 ounces." Like, wait, she's like 5 foot nothing. This would be perfect.
Yes.
It's actually a cell phone that's hollowed out and
yes, it looks like an old, a very 90s, very early 2000s cell phone, actually, and it's so cute.
Oh my god! You still have a flip phone?
I'm
yes.
I'm at the point in my life that I'm seriously considering going back to a flip phone, just so I don't have to, deal with crap like applications and shit. That's such a funny nutty. But so I thank you so much for your gifts. They were very awesome.
I was jealous about the Woodford bitters though, because it's like, oh damn, I'm gonna try it. Damn it, I can't. Had a safety seal on it. I was gonna take a nip for myself before sending it out, but I'm like, crap.
Well, it's not like I didn't send you a bunch of bitters too.
Oh, I know. I need more of those. Ooh, Woodford. All right, I'll give it to her. I'm self-sacrificing.
You can always buy some more. After all, you're only 10 minutes from the liquor store. Unlike me, who's an hour from the liquor store.
Actually, I got one right across the street. I can walk there.
See? I'm so jealous. All right.
Yeah, jealous, but then, you got the problem of people stepping in your hands on the way home.
That's true. There's definite pluses and minuses. All right. So, Brad, where can we find you? Take a deep breath, honey.
Well, you can find me daily over at townhall.com. My VIP column there is ripped from the headlines where I tear into those sons of bitches in the press on a daily basis. Also on a regular appearance on a daily basis at redstate.com. Got my twice-a-week podcast called Liable Sources. New episode possibly going up tonight. We had technical errors. Might be up tomorrow, but it will be up there as well. And I think tomorrow I've got my Dipsology column all about Bourbon County Stout. Walking you through it, prepping you for Black Friday. You'll want to get in line for that stuff. But then also, I'll be found on this very network. Don't think this week because Thursday is Thanksgiving. Stepping on my show, but normally I'd be here with Paul Young for Disasters into Macon and the Dark Side of Hollywood and Bad Movies. Alternate Thursdays with Ordy Packard as we go through all of the pertinent, important information in the entertainment spectrum on the culture shift. And if you need more of me than that, let's face it, you do. If you head over to Twitter, I am at Martini Shark. Can also be found at Instagram, Truth Social, a few others, whatever. How about yourself, Aggie? Where can people find more of your magnificence?
Well, you can find me at Aggie Regan and at Aggie the Barkeep. Those are over on Twitter. I'm also over on Getter, and I think I'm on Parler and Minds and MeWe. I just don't ever check those places, so don't bother. And let's see, I'm always here Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. That's our new old time. We've decided to come back to the old time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, doing the Cocktail Lounge with my wonderful co-host, you, and Friday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern as well, doing He Said, She Said with the lovable and quirky Mickey Blowtorch. And the very last Wednesday of every month, I am doing Toxic Masculinity with Rowdy Rick and G and Orty Packard. And that one is at 8 p.m. on the last Wednesday of every month. So tune in for that. Thanks so much for joining us. And we hope that you guys have a lovely evening tonight.
And have a happy Day of the Bird as you raise a glass and look at the ceiling.